Oakland International Airport today announced new steps being taken to protect travelers in the age of the coronavirus. The airport says it started a resiliency task force that's working to come up with new ways to help minimize the spread of COVID-19. The task force has made adjustments to the airport, including installing social distancing markers and plexiglass guards for ticket counters. These are all signs of a new normal when it comes to traveling in the age of this pandemic. Here to tell us more now about some of the changes we might notice when we travel is Seth Kaplan, aviation industry expert. Seth, it's always good to have you on here. I'm not planning on taking a trip anytime soon, but the next time I do show up at the airport, what is that experience going to be like for me?
Well, if other airports adopt what Oakland has adopted, big if here because no national standards, right? So everybody's just kind of figuring this out on their own. But we're talking about those plexiglass windows, social distancing markers, similar to what we've seen at supermarkets and elsewhere. Obviously, just about everybody wearing masks. And throughout the terminal, even at gates, efforts to help people socially distant. Look, these airports were not designed for social distancing, right? The old math was all about how many people you can pack into how small a space as possible. New world now. Also additional measures at immigration as people begin returning to the country. Again, not a lot of international travel right now, but protections, especially not just for travelers, but obviously for the workers there.
Yeah, and Seth, at some airports around the world and here in the U.S., they've been testing out these thermal cameras. Are we likely to see some of the security checkpoints at our airports screening travelers like that for the coronavirus?
Yeah, and Frontier Airlines, in fact, Alex, became the first to announce that starting June 1st, it's going to take the temperature of passengers at gates in its case. So it didn't wait to see what's going to happen at the airport, and I'm sure we're going to see other airlines follow it. If you have a temperature of 100.4 or higher, you can't fly. So yes, there are going to be measures like that, and it's all a question of sort of measuring what's the most effective. The game here is to try to figure out what you can put in place that's practical, that actually helps without making travel just a hassle and, with things that don't make it actually safer. But we saw that after 9/11, right? All kinds of new measures. Some of them were eventually ratcheted back. If you travel outside the U.S., especially to Asia, those thermal readers that you're talking about, people have seen those over there. They've dealt with past epidemics. Nothing quite like this. This is all very new territory for us here. And yeah, it's time to expect more of that.
All right, but Seth, we have seen some of these images that people have posted on social media of packed planes, completely full flights. I thought that the airlines were supposed to be allowing room for social distancing on board the planes.
There too, just kind of an airline by airline thing. American has said it's blocking some rows through the end of May. Delta has said it's not selling middle seats through the end of June, also capping in its case capacity 50% in first class, 60% in economy. But yeah, you're right. All kinds of images. Last time we talked, Alex, was right before the masks became mandatory. So in that case, you had people who could have been immediately next to you not even wearing a mask. Masks now mandatory on almost all airlines, at least. The question here, too, is, that empty middle seat, well, I guess better 18 inches. That's about the width of a seat than nothing at all. But that, too, not 6 feet. So a tough trade-off. If airlines have to block middle seats for a long time to come, beyond the point when people want to start traveling again, probably would push up airfares. So the question here is, how much good does it do versus the certain negative impact on airfares, but obviously safety first. And I know, hey, personally, I'd rather be on a plane with fewer people than more people. I'd rather an empty seat rather than a full seat, even if that's not 100% protection.
Yeah, it's certainly going to look and feel very different the next time we all travel. Aviation industry expert Seth Kaplan, always appreciate your insight. Thanks for coming on.
Likewise, Alex. Thank you.
All right, take care.